Okay, welcome my dear friends, and let's begin. Today I want to speak with you about emotional intellect, emotional intelligence. Does anybody know what is it? Wow, it's a forest of hands. My name is Sergey Atroschenkov. I am from EPAM Systems company from St. Petersburg, and well, my way in IT, I started in 2000, and I've been busy as a developer, as a manager, and now, well, 9 years ago, testing and me found each other, and we are still friends. And you know, in my work, I faced this situation. Then we are good in technologies, we are good in the processes, but something goes wrong in our testing. Something goes wrong when we test software. Something goes wrong when we manage the team. And I started to investigate this. I started to trying to understand what is wrong, what is the gaps in my skills. And I found such things like emotional intelligence. And you know, it was 2013 when I've met this, when I met deeply with this approach, with these terms. And after it, I started working as a manager with emotional intelligence, started working as a tester, as an engineer with emotional intelligence, and found different ways, found different tricks which I want to share with you today. My first question for you, for all of you, is what is emotion? How you can say when you feel something, when you see something, what is it emotion? How you define it? Emotion, it's not the rocket science. Come on.
It's feeling.
Feeling? Emotions, it's a feeling. Okay.
Emotions is a reaction to something.
Yes, exactly. You know, I want to say that emotions, it's a body's reaction to any change in the external environment. Not only external, it can be internal. I mean internal inside of me, inside of you. But it's very important that emotion is a body reaction. It's not the mindset. It's not the something mystic. It's not the clear psychology. No, emotions, it's a body reaction. Why do you think, why we, when we talk about emotions, we are speaking about body? Why do you think?
Because we can make contact. Серега, можно сделать упражнение, не расслабься.
Okay.
I guess when we talk about body reaction to emotions, it's when we feel something and our body reacts to it in a different way based on the emotions we.
Yes. And because the body, it's, you know, you can lie for, sorry girls, you can lie for your wife, you can lie for your boss, but you cannot lie for your body. And your body cannot lie for you. The body is the truth demonstration. The body is the truth presentation of emotions inside of you. And that's why we are talking about body. Short introduction to emotional intelligence. Also, you can see acronym like EQ. It's emotional quotient, like IQ. You know IQ? No, serious? Yeah. And you know the difference between EQ and IQ? The main difference? Good point. Another one? Sorry? Yes, exactly. IQ is grow up to, by last information, it's up to for 25 years. And after it, we have IQ, for example, 180, and it will be all our life. Maybe before 70 or 80, then it's no matter. Yes, and IQ, you can improve, you can train your EQ every day. You can train your EQ after 25, and that's great. And first mention of emotional intelligence was made by Peter Salovey and John Mayer in 1990. It was psychology work, scientific work about emotions, as I remember, with Harvard University, maybe I'm wrong. And emotional intelligence became popular, became most famous when Daniel Goleman wrote his book. This book about why EQ is more important than IQ. It's the most popular and the most famous book about emotional intelligence. And you can see you can see this picture, and I show you two words: limbic system. It's very important because you remember that we said about our body reaction, and it's not only a body reaction like the skin when you touch you can feel something. It's not only the first reaction. It's our deep reaction which we have before we became the Homo sapiens. It's our first reaction which we have when we were only sapiens, not sapiens, only Homo. I mean, limbic system is more ancient than neocortex system, which we have, and the neocortex system in our brain make us Homo sapiens. I mean, make us sapiens. Limbic system is ancient things in our brain that we have, and that react to any changes in internal or external environment. And that's why, I mean, that's limbic system. We can feel any emotions. If you're talking about emotional intelligence, we can speak about four things. Four things to understand, to define what is emotional intelligence is. First one, self-awareness. It is how you can understand, how you can measure, how you can how you can understand what you feel now, what emotions do you feel now. It's important because you cannot manage anything if you cannot measure it. The first, you have to understand, you have to measure your emotions. Second thing is manage self-emotions, manage your emotions. Third thing is empathy. It's about how to understand emotions of others. And I want to show you a short cartoon about emotion, about empathy. Let me open.
So what is empathy, and why is it very different than sympathy? Empathy fuels connection. Sympathy drives disconnection. Empathy, it's very interesting. Teresa Wiseman is a nursing scholar who studied professions, very diverse professions where empathy is relevant, and came up with 4 qualities of empathy. Perspective taking, the ability to take the perspective of another person or recognize their perspective as their truth. Staying out of judgment, not easy when you enjoy it as much as most of us do. Recognizing emotion in other people and then communicating that. Empathy is feeling with people. And to me, I always think of empathy as this kind of sacred space when someone's kind of in a deep hole and they shout out from the bottom and they say, I'm stuck, it's dark, I'm overwhelmed. And then we look and we say, hey, you can climb down. I know what it's like down here. And you're not alone. Sympathy is, ooh, it's bad, no. You want a sandwich? Empathy is a choice, and it's a vulnerable choice, because in order to connect with you, I have to connect with something in myself that knows that feeling. Rarely, if ever, does an empathic response begin with at least. Yeah. And we do it all the time. Because you know what? Someone just shared something with us that's incredibly painful, and we're trying to silver lining it. I don't think that's a verb, but I'm using it as one. We're trying to put the silver lining around it. So, I had a miscarriage. Oh, at least you know you can get pregnant. I think my marriage is falling apart. At least you have a marriage. John's getting kicked out of school. At least Sarah is an A student. But one of the things we do sometimes in the face of very difficult conversations is we try to make things better. If I share something with you that's very difficult, I'd rather you say, I don't even know what to say right now, I'm just so glad you told me. Because the truth is, rarely can a response make something better. What makes something better is connection.
You see, this cartoon about empathy, but not only. At the end of this cartoon, we see the fourth thing from emotions. It's the social skills. Then you can measure emotions of other people. You can manage it. So, the first one, we have to measure our emotions, to understand it. Second one, we have to learn how to manage your emotions. And after it, we can start working with empathy, understand emotions of other people, understand and feel it, for example. And just only after it, we can manage emotions by other people, for other people. And you know, when I talked about emotional intelligence for managers, they said, okay, first, second, third, it's understandable. But please tell us how to work with fourth thing. Well, without first, third things, we cannot do anything. And how we can awareness, how we can understand which emotions we have. We have two tools. First one is the word. Well, to understand what we feel, we have to have word to call it. And the second tool is the brain. It's obvious, I think, because we can call something, but to understand that we feel, what we feel at moment, we have to use our brain. And you know, does anybody read Daniel Goleman book? And so the diagram with like a flower with different emotions types. I won't suggest another classifications for emotions with four classes. First one is fear, second one is anger, third one is sadness, and last one is joy. And we have situation when at the beginning, when we start feel something, for example, right now, you feel something, you're feeling something, and at moment it can be not bright emotions, not pure emotions, and in most cases we have no word to call it, because in different languages, in different cultures, we have different words to describe the same emotions. But when I started trying to translate our Russian emotions, just for example, sorry for Russian from foreign guests, in Russian we have печалька. it's not clear sadness. It's sadness, ness. Something like that. In English, absolutely, we have the same things, but not like the sadness, ness. No. And to understand how to translate, to understand what is it, this emotion for English people, we have to learn the culture. And that's why I started, I would say, I started to learn English literature, classical literature, from ancient up to now. And I understand that our, печалька, it's not the same like sadness, it's a different. And it's a big and good approach when you can use your native language. Your native language, because you understand these emotions, you understand these words exactly how you can feel it. It is for about no words. When we have no words, we have some feeling, but we have no words in our language to call it. At the middle, we have, well, fear, anger, sadness, joy. We can understand when we feel it. We can understand how we feel it. It's easy. But, you know, we have another part. We have no brain. It means that in some situation, when you're too angry, you know, then you enrage. You cannot understand what is it, what is inside of you. And to avoid this situation, when you enrage, and after it you can say, I was enraged. But at the moment when you enrage, you cannot understand what you enrage. To avoid this situation, then you, I can say, when you catch the tilt, it's the same situation. To avoid it, we have to improve, we have to train our emotional intelligence. Okay, and what about testing? Any emotions which we felt during our work with software, during our work with the team, it's a reason to say for you, stop. What do I feel now? It is important to say for you, stop. Because when you feel something, it's not about rage. It can be light worry about something. You can say for you, stop, and can understand what you feel. And when we are working with software, when we test software, we felt emotions, feeling emotions. Every our action, like test design, like test management, like regression testing, it caused any emotions. What do you think about regression testing? Which emotions do you feel when you perform regression testing, for example, 3 times per year and about 2 years, for example? Sadness, ness, for example. Or it can be joy, I don't know. People will be people. And let's see several emotions and how they can reflect in our work, in our engineering work and our management work. Regression testing. Then you feel sadness. I think it's obvious, not obvious, but in most cases we feel sadness. Okay, I feel sadness. Okay. And this is the reason to say for me, stop. Why I feel it. And it is the reason to understand. Maybe it's the test quality. I have regression tests which were acceptance tests for some specific customers, not customers' roles. And these tests are ugly for me. But if I didn't say for me, stop, I cannot find this. Or, for example, it can be pesticide paradox. When you perform regression testing, row by row, years by years, you can see that, okay, not everybody, but we can see some situation when our tests stop find bugs. We perform regression testing, the same regression testing After it, we perform the same regression testing and no any bugs. It's sadness. It's really sadness. Because it's not clear why and for what I'm doing it. As for manager, it can be test design management. And during test design, maybe I am, as a test manager, perform test design. Maybe my team perform test design. And I see or I feel that something sadness in the team. And this can be the reason to understand, to think about, maybe it's too late for test design. For example, tomorrow we have user acceptance testing. Seems like too late for test design. For functional test design, at least. Or no new approaches during test design. And as for me, for manager, it should be very, very sad that your team works the same way few years without any improvements of your process, without any improvements of your tests. It is really sad. It's ugly. What about a kind of range? Static testing. You feel a little worry when you perform static testing, and what can it be? It can be, for example, grammar issues. It's okay in some cases. It can be English words or articles in the French or Dutch texts. For example, I don't know Dutch, I don't know French, I don't know Italian. I'm familiar with English. But when I read text, when I reading text, I see that it is an English word in the French text. It's not required to be expert in the French to understand it, to see it. But at least you have to feel something, because it can be clear French language. You don't know it. But if you feel something, say to you, stop, and investigate it. It can be any styles issues. It can be screenshots from previous version of application, for example, in the user guide. And when you're working on the same application several years, you can, your brain, I mean, neocortex brain, can not understand that the picture is the previous one, not the actual one. And that's why you have to say for you, stop, and understand it. As for manager, ROI. How many managers in the audience? Oh, did you calculate ROI? Sure. And how it was? I mean, it was accurate. And second question, did you calculate ROI after automation or before? You know, in my practice, I faced this situation when you calculate ROI before the automation, it one numbers. But after real automation, after real several cycles of performing this automation, after real several cycles update this automation, you understand that it is another number. Not big difference with experience, but it's another number. So during calculation of ROI, manager can feel any worries about it. It can be caused reasons that manager are not ready to prove these automations. It can be more deeper. It's not related for the current project, but it can be related for the previous experience, for the previous negative experience. And manager have to understand it, to handle it, to understand that his feeling is just previous experience, not actual, not current situation. And it can be caused by reason. For example, we made a decision, use Selenium and, for example, page object approach. We calculate ROI based on it, but during ROI calculation, as manager, I understand that I can use another tool. Well, I can use test complete, for example. And it means that investigation of tool was not completed well. And about positive emotions, joy, engineer, new build, get new build and think, well, gotta catch them all, I mean bugs. And it's not so good. It's good that engineer feel some joy, feel some passion to it. But it's not good because simple defects, simple bugs can be lost during the testing because of tilt. And for example, when you test something as a test engineer, it doesn't matter. It is session-based testing, it is script-based testing, it is ad hoc testing, it doesn't matter. You can check end-to-end scenarios and you have to understand, will the customer, will the user use the same end-to-end scenarios or not? Because you feel happy, you feel joy, you check end-to-end scenarios and you're happy, but customer not. Because he has no tilt about new build. He has no tilt about bug hunting. And as for managers, test execution progress. It's one of popular metrics. And if manager sees the metrics, sees the graphs, he or she can say, oh, it's good. We have a good progress. But this is a point to say to you, stop. Is this progress repeatable? Can I repeat this progress? Can I repeat this tempo at the next time? And the second one is, did the team concentrate on testing? Or maybe team concentrate on KPI and metrics? For example, they pass tests because they pass tests, without any serious reason, without serious testing. Sometimes it can be. And what we can do in case found bugs related, bugs with emotional content helps. First step, simple, rationalize it. Start thinking by your neocortex. And the second thing that I can say can be useful for you, can be useful for us, it's ask your team. Because if you felt any emotions, it's a point to say stop and point to say why I feel it. And you can ask your team, you can ask your customer, you can ask your business analytics, etc. And how we can level up, how we can train our emotional intelligence. Well, first one you can ask me, and I tell you about several approaches. Second one is reminders. Do you know the rule like 21 per 3? No? To get any skills in our life, we have to perform some things up to 21 days. And to start working with your emotional intelligence, to start working with understandable of your emotions, we have to concentrate on this for 21 days. And 3 times is just a simple way to set on your phone, on your cell phone, 3 reminder for different time, up to 21 days. And when reminder will alert you, think about what I felt 1 minute ago. Why I say about 1 minute ago? What do you think? Yeah, exactly. Because when you say for you, stop what I feel now, you will feel not worry, maybe anger. Because I worked, I'm talking with somebody, and now I see the reminder. It's anger. Third one thing, it's use your confidence now. Use our confidence now. You can write down after each speech, after each report, you can write down what you felt now. And more than it, we have the stickers. You saw stickers in your package. We have at least 2 emotions, joy and maybe 3 emotions. Joy and sad or anger. And we can understand what we felt and we can demonstrate it. We can maybe manage somebody. For example, you can left with audience and stick the emotions. It is really emotions. It's not the not estimate. It's not the ABC like in school classes. No, it's emotions which we felt. And the last one, it's good books. Better good books in English and in your native language to understand emotions. To understand emotions in different cultures. Theaters and operas. Yeah, don't forget stick your emotions. Thank you.
Questions? Hi, my name is Lena. I'm from Moscow. You talk a lot about sadness, rage, and so on, and a bit about joy. About me, I feel happy when I find bugs. I made my product better, and I feel happy when I found no bugs because my product is good enough. So maybe when you feel rage, anger, and so on, QA is not your profession. What about this?
Maybe, why not? No, serious. For example, like a manager, not a clear pure test manager, I feel not happy when I found bugs. But finding bugs, it's my profession. I can do it, but I'm not happy. Because I understand quality, okay, it's important, but I understand that the time is more important in some cases. In some cases, when we can say that the quality is important and we can stop our releases, we can stop our dates, we can say for business, oh, wait guys, no releases today because of bugs. It is okay. Then I cannot say it. I'm not happy. And you know, people will be people. All people are different. And good testers, I know good testers who is not happy then found bugs. Why? I don't know. But they people.
Hello, my name is Sergey, and I have to say some word about the previous question. Let's imagine that you have iterations for 1 week, and some another team cannot fix their bug for 5 times in a row, and they promise every time that they will fix it, and you found the same bug 5 times in a row, and you will be happy with it.
No, I won't be happy, of course, but for my team, the point is to avoid this bug maybe, and I think I could do something to avoid this bug in my part of product. That's all. And when I do this, it will make me happy.
Yeah, and I've got a question for you. Can you switch to slide with 2 ways to solve the problem with emotional bug? It's, yeah, this one. So the first step is to rationalize it, and I'm a little bit disagree because when you find your emotional bug or your pet bug, you feel the emotions, the Captain
Yeah.
Obvious, and you must maybe spend some times to your logical part of your brain.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's why when I said about emotional intelligence, I said about 4 steps. First of one, it's understand what you feel. Second one, it's manage it. Because emotions, it's emotions. Our rational part of brain can be not so good in these cases. That's why we have to manage it. And you know, for previous question, I can add, when you're happy, then your tester happy. And came to developers and said, hey guys, new bugs! What do you feel? What dev guys will feel? It's not the happiness. And these things, that's why I think testers have to understand that such words can cause any anger from the dev side. It can be okay, but you have to understand it.
So I should come to developers, give them a hug and cry, oh, I find one more bug, please fix it.
Absolutely. You know, it depends on your dev. Because I had different teams, and for one teams I can say, hey guys, new bugs, you make bad code. And they say, okay, yeah, no problem.
You have work now.
Yeah. And for other team, I cannot say it, because I understand that guys will be dissatisfied. And I understand when guys dissatisfied, then can introduce, they can add new bugs in our system. Then they can create regression, because bugs, I have to fix it. Okay, let it be fast, without any verification. And in case if we have no code review, and we can face the situation, then anger is not good things for that side. You have to understand your team. That's why you have to understand and have to use empathy. Because different teams, different emotions inside of this team, and different tools to work with your team. Different emotions, I mean. You can be sad, you can be joy, depends. Are any new questions? Okay. Thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.